Okay, to do the basic button, I went to learn lessons, see all lessons, and then came down here to basic button. It's possible that you have to scroll down much, much further. Um, there are lots of other options in here, but really the one that I want you to do is this one, the basic button. It should not take long, but just seeing it makes it a little bit easier. So it's trying to award me that I've already completed it, which is not true. So I'm going to back it up to the beginning and delete it out. It may look a little strange at first, but all right, so it'll come in looking like this. We got our instructions on the left. It says drag a cylinder. I want a solid one, so I'm going to drag this orange one in. I'm going to put it real close to where I have that spot. It doesn't have to be identical, but pretty close. Hit next, and it will give me more instructions. Scale it down to a height of 2 millimeters. Using these various white boxes, I can click on them and change the height. The top one right here is for the height, and it said 2, so it's going to get really thin. Press enter, and it's going to go down to being really thin. I can use my scroll on my mouse to zoom in. I can also use the plus and minus over here on the left side of the work area. And when I click on next, it now says scale it to a smaller diameter of 16 millimeters. Diameter means both directions, so this one and this one should both go to 16. So 16, enter, 16, enter, and you can see it's resized itself. And that's the main shape of the button. Now it's time to create some holes, and this time I'm going to use cylinders. The instructions say to take a solid cylinder. I'm just going to go ahead and take a whole cylinder in here right out of the gate, and change its size. And then it's going to say make it a hole, but I just made it a hole right now. My size is now going to be a diameter of 3. These are going to be really small. 3 by 3. Doesn't matter how tall it is because it's just going to cut through it. Okay, and I can move it around with my arrows as well. If I don't like how it's placing itself, I want it to lock in closer to where the tutorial is telling me to go, I can go down here and change my grid snap, and that will allow me, when I make moves, it will move in smaller increments. You can see that that lines up pretty well right there. And that's what it's saying here, snap grid 1 to 0.5. I went all the way down to 0.25 so that it moves in nice small little movements as it moves around. So I'm using my arrows. So next it says I want to do the same thing. I can copy this one. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to make a copy of it. That is up here, duplicate and repeat. Control D, or this kind of stack of papers. And when I drag it, you'll see that the old one stays there and the new one moves. My arrows can help me move this around as well. And at this point, we need to merge these so that these holes actually are cut from the original disc. So that will be my next step. So it says select all the shapes. I'm going to just highlight them like this by using click and drag. And if they're all collected, it'll say that I have 3 shapes. And then I'm going to use this where it looks like a circle that merged with a square. I'm going to group them together, and that's going to take those cylinders and it's going to cut them from the original. And you can see that that has happened. And then we get to the congratulations, which sometimes it does, even if it doesn't work. So make sure that yours looks similar to this. I would say that you may want to double check the name of the product up here at the top. Mine's just called Basic Button. You may get a random name that you need to type in a new one of. But other than that, you don't have to do anything else, and you do not have to leave do any saving. You can just close out the tab window and you're good.